Today's video I'm going to show you how to change the air filter to a 2013 Audi Q7 TDI. This is the air filter right here inside the box. Here's the brand that I use, and here's the part number LX20241. So the air filter that I get, there's going to be two types of air filters you can get. Air filters you can get for the Q7. It's going to look exactly like this, but the only thing that's added onto this one is this black foam padding. So what the black foam padding does, it helps if you live in a very dusty area. This helps reduce, cleaner air so not enough dust gets in through this. But if you live in an area where there's not enough dust and the air is pretty clean and not dusty, you can get the filter that's just this. It won't come with the black foam padding, and if you do get the black foam padding with, it's a little bit extra, and obviously it's cheaper if you get just the regular filter by itself. So let's go ahead and go to the car and change out this filter. So when looking at your engine bay, your air filter is going to be right here where the air box is. So what we're going to have to do is unclip these latches right here, and then there's this coolant hose right here, so it's attached to this. All you gotta do is pull up, and this will help us go ahead and move it out of the way. There's no need to disconnect it from the expansion tank. You can just leave it like this as long as you can wiggle out of the way. And now we can go ahead and open this up, and then that is where your air filter is. So I'm gonna put the camera down so I can use two hands and get it out. Actually, let's remove the engine cover. I have room to push this all the way as far as I can. And then here is our filter. And as I was explaining before, it's going to take a little bit of nudging. All right. So as I said before, look, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a B right there. But as I mentioned before, the filter that I got has that foam padding right here to help better filtration if you live in a dusty area. Because at the time when I changed this out, I didn't live in a dusty area because I moved to a different state, and where I live now, it's a lot more dustier. That's why I got the one with the foam pad that's recovered right here. So now that the filter's out, one thing I recommend you do, I don't know if you can see down there, there you got your debris, some leaves, dust, and all that. You want to get a vacuum hose and suck all that out, because you definitely don't want that getting inside your engine. Alright, so now I just finished vacuuming the inside of the airbox. So now that it's clean from all debris, we can go ahead and insert our air filter now. When you insert the air filter back in, it's going to be this way. So you want the foam pad to be the first contact for any kind of debris, dust, and whatnot, to be your first line of defense, and then out here will be the clean air that will be going into the engine. When I tried to put in the filter back in, it was just a struggle to get in. So what I did, the key advice, is I went ahead and disconnected this hose right here, so I have more room, and I disconnected the sensor here. So just an FYI how to disconnect the sensor. So the sensor is like this, right? So on the bottom side, there's this little thing. So you gotta go ahead and pull it this way. So if it's this way, you gotta pull it in the direction that my finger is. Then once it comes undone, you can go ahead and remove the sensor. So now this should give you more ample space to drop in that air filter. Alright, so now that that is said and done, if you can see how this foam, this orange part of the filter is nice and flush with this part of the airbox right along through here. And now I'm going to go ahead and connect this to this, and then I'll connect this part last. So now that it's all nice and closed, there's these two clips, clip here and a clip right there. So just give it a little shake, make sure there's nothing loose, and make sure it's all connected. And just keep in mind, down towards the bottom of the airbox, there's these like little notches where you gotta connect this part of the airbox with the bottom part so it goes in, because if you don't connect it in, the bottom part will be like really loose. But since it's not loose on me and it's really good and snug, that's how I know that the pieces are actually got into the hole. So I don't know what the correct term is, but hole in. So now that I connected these two clips back on, you can go ahead and I can go ahead and just connect this part of the coolant line back to the airbox. And now the sensor, like I was saying, can go back in. So remember, the little plastic notch here faces downwards and not up. So there, it's snapped into place. Go ahead and connect the rest of the air intake. And then with this right here, I recommend to leave it so it's easy access for you to undo it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a flathead and tighten this up, and then I'll say a little thing before we finish up. Alright, so before you go ahead and drive off, make sure I recommend to remove this, because this, when you try to open this up, you're going to be bumping up against it. So go ahead and remove that. When you're all said and done, obviously put your engine cover back on if you have one. Make sure both these clips right here are connected and it's not loose. Connect your coolant hose back to this little hole right here where it goes. And if you did disconnect this, remember to disconnect this with a flathead and also the sensor right here. And there's like a little clip right here that you pull out in that direction to take it off. Make sure you put that back on. And that's pretty much everything there is to do with the air filter. The next thing I want to say is how often you should change the air filter. That's going to all depend on how much you drive the car or how little you drive the car. Where you drive, is it always dusty? Is there always a dust storm like every day? Or is the air like prestige, like there's not a speck of dust? It's all going to depend on your driving conditions and the environment that you drive in. It could range from like 10,000 miles to like 30,000 miles. So for me, because I live in a area where there's more dust, and since I do drive this as my daily driver for work, to and from work, and also as a family car, so I do put a lot more miles driving this car. So that means I am going to have to change the air filter more frequently than somebody who only uses it for their weekend trips, or weekend to get the groceries, stuff like that. So again, and also one thing to keep in mind, write down the miles that you change the air filter at, so you can kind of keep track of the mileage when you do things to the car, so you're aware of how many miles do you have left. If you want to follow the 10,000 to 30,000 rule, or if you just have like that gut feeling you just need to change it, that works too. So thank you for watching and have a good day.